And we are live and back on my channel. Hey guys, welcome back to atchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where tonight I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And it is not going to happen this video, but that's okay. We're going to live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, kind humans. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe to both channels. Any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, it's because we cover on her channel. We just got done doing Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which was a very good live considering the episode they gave us. So y'all go back and watch the replay, like the video, comment, and also subscribe to her channel. And be sure to tell her James sent you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. So the episode opens up with Shamia going over to Cynthia's house. They're going to go ahead and meet up, and this is the day after Shamia's surprise birthday party for Gerald. And they're conversating because Cynthia was very confused on the guest list and why certain people were not invited. And Shamia tells her, well, me and Angela are not in a great place. Drew and I are not in a great place. Every time we conversate, she always wants to bring up Portia. And I just feel like I don't want to go into that. And Cynthia said, well, speaking of Portia, why wasn't she invited? And Shamia said, there's too much in between us right now. We need to have deeper conversations. And Cynthia said, well, Shamia, that's kind of not fair considering she buried the hatchet with you and invited you to her party. So I don't understand why you wouldn't extend the invitation. And she said, even Dennis got an invite. Shamia said, well, Dennis was going to get an invite anyway because him and Simon still bring the girls to play together. And I don't want to come in between that. And hell, if Simon was in the country, he would have been invited. And I said, oh, well, damn. Now, I felt away when she said that because, her and Portia were best friends. I'm thinking of Mrs. Best. I know that if I got divorced, Mrs. Best would not be inviting my ex-husband to the surprise birthday party, regardless of where she and I are. Like, I just know she wouldn't do that, and vice versa. I would not be inviting her husband.
Portia knows Simon because of Shamia. Simon is
Mhm.
a good friend of Shamia's man, so it's different. She
Is it
has to have
different?
a relationship with him. You think you think Gerald's going to end a friendship with Simon just because he's not with Portia anymore? What does
What
his
about
dating
Dennis?
have to do with their friendships? Like,
I might give you Simon, but what about Dennis?
what about Dennis? Did she invite Dennis?
She did invite Dennis.
Okay, that I don't understand. Now Simon, I only gave a pass because Gerald knows Simon. Portia got to Simon through Shamia, so I'll give her a pass there. But if it's like a baby daddy, just someone else that Shamia's husband does not know, then if you invite exes, that's messy.
Yeah, I can. That's why I say I know Simon. I can
With
understand.
Simon,
Yeah,
I'll
I can understand.
understand it, but any other ex, she's being messy. She just wants to piss off Portia.
Yep. Hi, Kevin Reynolds. Thank you for joining us on this live today. And this is how I felt too. I felt like she was purposely being nasty, but
Shamia's
that's just
always
what it is.
purposely nasty.
Yeah. The conversation then turns to, her saying she's going through a lot with the surrogate process and everything. The surrogate is about to take off with the next, round to, carry, and she's hoping, it sticks. And Cynthia said, well, do you think that the stress of what you're going through is causing the friction between the other ladies? And Shamia said, no, everybody's coming at me about my marriage and my situation. So I'm only retaliating. I don't think that this has anything to do with that. I don't agree with Shamia. I think that this doesn't help her attitude, but I do think that she is projecting a lot of stress onto the other ladies because it doesn't make sense otherwise. There's nothing that they are doing that I feel that she didn't cause. And what I mean by that is her friction with Angela and Drew. Drew called her a lapdog, which she barked and said, roof, roof, kiss my motherfucking ass, bitch. You did say that. So for me, I feel like, okay, but she called you and you did exactly what she said you would do. So I don't get it. But nevertheless, Cynthia just wants to show the support for Shamia. They end up hugging it out. It was a cute little scene. How did you feel about Cynthia's meetup with Shamia?
I didn't care for it, but I'm kind of over this cast as a whole. Um, I feel like Shamia's not going to do well on this show with Portia there. And now I don't know if she'll do well on the show even without Portia. It just seems like everything she's doing is trying to either attack Portia, one up Portia, or match what she can do. And I'm kind of over it. Her and Cynthia meeting, womp womp. That's how I feel.
Yes. So we're gonna move on to the next scene. So the next scene we have K Michelle and Pinky meeting up. And they're catching up on what everything. Pinky is letting us know that, she had about $9,000 come out of her personal account. She doesn't know what it was for. Then she called up to the shop and they said this is for food and stuff and materials. And she's like, oh, she goes, I'm paying everything out of pocket. So this is enough. This is crazy. But they show Pinky showcasing that her business and her brand, she's making history, she's doing all these different things. And in the back of my mind, all I'm seeing is blogs talking about this location is closed, this location is
I'm like,
closed.
you talk about you making history, but are you making money? Isn't that
Right.
the goal?
Yeah, like are we sure we doing this, Pinky? Or is this some current shit? Or is this some, like, I'm just asking. Because in today's time, Pinky's name in the blogs is not the most positive. So I'm just like, okay, if that's what she wants to do. Hi, Shani. Thank you for being back with us. Pinky confuses me a lot. But K Michelle fills her in on the situation with Drew and what happened there about, how Drew and her got into this, altercation. It ended up with her and Shamia going to the club. And then Shamia's mama showed up. K Michelle said that lady had on her white jumpsuit with her titties out, pushed all the way up to her chin. And K Michelle was like, I don't know, no mama like that. But in the conversation, I guess Shamia had told K Michelle that, oh my gosh, I really like you. I want to be friends. And my girlfriends tell me not to be friends with you. And she's telling Pinky all of this. And I said, okay, Michelle. Oh, now that I'm actually seeing the scene and actually hearing it come out of her mouth and hearing the circumstance, I don't think Shamia intended for that to get out on camera. And I don't think K Michelle was supposed to do that. Now, granted, Shamia is wrong for even telling her that. And it could have been, she did had a few drinks and maybe it just slipped out. We all have drunk talk, every now and then. So maybe it was something like that. But K Michelle took it hard. She was crying in the car. And she said, I'm not here for the candy coated click. And I just said, oh, not candy getting strays now. Damn. But watching the scene back, I was like, I don't think K Michelle was supposed to bring that out on camera. I really don't. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about K Michelle telling Pinky this information?
I don't think that Kay should have told Pinky about it. However, what I question more, why would you tell somebody that no one wants them to be friends with you? That seems mean.
It does.
It just seems mean. Like it's like if I know saying something is going to upset someone and then I just do it to do it. Like what was the point in saying that? So it does let me know, it lets all of us know what we've all been kind of suspecting, which is that Shamia is in Kay's ear. But I'm also concerned with like how naive and quick to believe everything that comes out of Shamia's mouth Kay can be. So, like, you crying over this and you're just believing every little thing they say. Obviously, they beefing and using the show as a way with the new cast members to pull people on their side and all of that. Like, why would you believe or take anything like that to heart? But I don't know. It just tells me these women are doing the most off camera.
They really are. And to me, as I said, I wouldn't even have said nothing to Pinky. And I think it was mean of Shamia to tell K Michelle that. Like, that was very mean. Like, it was very mean girl-ish. I wouldn't even have said anything. What I would have told my friends was, okay, well, I'm on the show with her. There's nothing I can do. She signed her contract. I want to get to know her so I could be fair. And then I'll make my own assessment of her. Like, that's like, to me, I get Atlanta is clicked up, y'all. I totally get that. But at the same time, somebody got to have backbones. I'm pretty sure not all the women, all the friends that these women have separately from the clique, everybody likes. So that's crazy as hell. Hey, JB, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. You guys, please subscribe to JB. He does a lot of content on his channel. He is funny as hell. Love him to death. This is, yeah, great content creator. Is there something how the viewing audience thought for many years it was Portia as the worst friend, yet now Shamia is a housewife and Shamia is actually the worst friend of the two? I'm just saying. I think, like Mrs. Best said, they're the same person, the same exact person. Like that's why they're having a hard time right now, is because in these circumstances and dynamics, the shoe hits the other foot, sometimes very early in the friendship or very late in the friendship. And when life changes for one or both of them, that's usually when that gets exposed. I think that we're in the middle of that right now between these two. So I think it started off with Portia being that way. And to me, it came off as jealousy. And that's why we see the ending up with Dennis. And then later on, when the Dennis shit didn't work, we end up with Simon. And it was to kind of keep up with each other. I think these two are in competition with each other secretly or maybe exposed. I don't know. But I just think that that's what we're looking at when it comes to these two. I really do. Mrs. Best, is there any response you have to Kevin's comment that maybe would support or do you agree?
I don't think Shamia or Portia are worse than the other. I don't think it's actually fair to judge which one is worse. I do think they're similar, but we've only seen Shamia on TV in a very small role. We haven't seen much of their friendship off camera. It sounds like there's other stuff that went on off camera to fully judge it, but they're both definitely very similar in how they move.
Yeah, I 100% agree. My parents found it funny, extremely funny at the end of last week when they were singing the national anthem so Drew could hear them. If I could sing, that's something I would do. Uh, I, I felt like that was silly of them to do, honestly. That wasn't nothing. I need, as I said, I need more context when it comes to Drew's K Michelle's problem with Drew and vice versa. Yeah, that's how I feel. Because Candy Rashida's best friend, so I can see it too. But at the same time, that's where Shamia has to kind of get a bigger backbone and say, well, hey, what the hell am I supposed to do? I get Candy's catching a straight for Rashida, but at the same time, Rashida brought that on herself. Like their beef, Rashida brought on herself. So I would wish Shamia had a little bit more of a backbone and say, "Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. She ain't did nothing to me." And I wouldn't even have told Kate Michelle what they said in that kind of conversation if there was a context conversation. So yeah, um, it was yes, I agree. I got a James. Yes, Shamia is the worst of the two. Never said anything about them being one and the same. We already knew that. Okay.
But how do you know she's the worst of the two when you've seen
I
just 2 seasons?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Kevin Reynolds. I was kind of saying to me, I was kind of explaining how they were one and the same based on your comment. I wasn't saying who was worse, even though I was saying they're the same person. I'm saying that they have both shown examples of doing the same thing to each other and the kind of dynamic they've had, where because they're one and the same, it would be easier for them to fall out over something petty. That was why I gave examples. And this is another example I wish I would have mentioned in that sentence that probably would have validated my point even more. Is that Shamia is a people pleaser, and Portia is the one who doesn't give a fuck. So that's how that could happen. So, but yeah, we're gonna that was pretty much it. I wish K Michelle wouldn't have put that on blast like that, but she gonna learn the hard way. I can already see that. Hi, Sandra. Thank you for being here. I actually was just watching you earlier. I meant to leave a comment. Loved your review. Thank you for doing so. Thank you for doing it. We appreciate you. Let me see here. The next thing we talk about, Portia. Ugh. So Portia has the big guy Mike over. She had a chef come over and cook his favorite meals. And they're talking because Portia is dating two people. She has the young lady Sway, who she's currently with in today's time, and she's dating this guy named Mike. The chef made some lamb chops, some oxtails. It was making me hungry because I love oxtails. So damn, I wish I could cook like that. But they're speaking about their future and everything. And Portia went on the Culture Con I don't know if that was a seminar or a podcast. I don't know what that was, but this is where it was revealed in the blogs that Portia says she's dating two people, which is a man and a woman. And the two people that she's dating know about each other, but they don't know the in-depth, situation of each other. They don't know who she's more serious with or anything of that. And Portia feels like where Mike wants to be is not the place she wants to be. Like, he wants children. Portia does not want to have another baby based on her experiences with IVF. So it's coming to a bit of a roadblock with them based on them having different principles and future ideas for each other. So that was pretty much it. We don't. She didn't really end things with him right then and there, but we know that that should be coming. So that was pretty much Portia seeing Mrs. Best. How did you feel about Portia explaining away her circumstance of blurting out that she's dating two people on a public platform? And do you think that Mike is being fair with his future demands with Portia?
Oh, I don't take Portia's love life seriously. I wait till she's married. I'm serious. People who date like Portia, I don't take their love life seriously. I'll wait till she's either married, on the way to marriage, like, or they got to be rich as hell. So I know that she won't let them go. But I don't take her relationship seriously at all. I think she announced being with a man and a woman, wanting that attention and knowing that people would talk about it. Like much of what she does, I just feel like it's disingenuous. Especially knowing that today she ended up with Sway. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let me read you guys' comments. Shamia is passive aggressive and has played up to being the good friend. I agree, JB. Shamia is worse because anything Portia has mentioned, Shamia never shuts it down. Like Portia, that's my point. I agree.
That's
I got
true.
you. I
That's
got you.
very
I got
true.
you, Kevin Reynolds. Don't worry about that. Um, yes. All right, so we're gonna move on then, because we ain't got because that's all Portia did in the scene. Just wasting money, bravo. I could go on this show and give y'all more of a show. But anyways, the next scene we have is Kelly. Kelly got to move out of her townhouse because remember, I told y'all last week that Kelly has had a whole bunch of court legal trouble with the neighbors, her employees, the lawsuits with these credit cards and stuff. Kelly got a lot going on. So Kelly decided she needed to move because she was not getting peace. And according to her, the neighbor has been harassing her from the beginning. So she goes ahead and she moves out all of her stuff. And then she moves into Shamia's townhome. Shamia says she's had this townhome since, the beginning of her marriage. It was an investment property. And she wants to alleviate a lot of stress from Kelly because Kelly is going through a lot financially. So she wanted to just kind of give her a little bit of a break and have her move in. And so when they get to the place, the mama's looking around like, I really wanted Kelly to come home. I felt like she needed to come home. And it wasn't so much for Kelly, but she wanted to be close to her grandchildren. And I was like, I can understand that. But Kelly is just going through it, y'all. Kelly is stressed out. And I'm just like, Kelly, as much as I want to be sympathetic with Kelly, because I can understand being financially drained and, things coming out of nowhere and getting you. But Kelly, you had $70,000, according to you, on this television show at your disposal for teeth. Instead of using that money like we all told you to help alleviate some of that stress, get your daughter a car, pay off some of that shit, because that $70,000 could have made a lot of them issues go away. You chose, a different route, some teeth. I don't care if my teeth was throwing up gang signs. I wouldn't have fixed them until I know I was out of debt with everything else. That's how I felt. But, I give Shami a lot of credit. That's being a real friend, allowing her to stay up there. I don't know if they have a rent agreement or not, but, you know, at least
I
she had a
know
place to
people
go.
like to be grateful when someone opens their house up to me. And please don't attack me for saying this, y'all. But something tells me that Shamia and Kelly are good for now. But Shamia seemed like the type of friend that'll do a nice gesture like that for you. But then when you have a moment of disconnect or a moment of like disagreement, she seemed like she might throw it back in Kelly's face or something.
Oh, absolutely. Wait till Kelly and Portia get cool.
And
That's
then I'm
exactly.
looking at Kelly and I'm kind of like, I understand you need the check on this show, but like, at what point are you going to stop with all the extra stuff, like the lip injections. I feel like she's getting weekly and all that crazy stuff. And I'm not trying to be mean. Please don't attack me for this opinion either. It's kind of weird that everywhere Kelly goes, she has a problem with somebody. That's weird. You beefing with the neighbor, you're beefing with your ex, you're beefing with random people at events, you're beefing with cast members. Like she seems to like have problems everywhere she go, whether financially or just drama wise. I don't know. But whenever people have this many series of unfortunate events, they're either the problem or keep making decisions that are not smart for themselves. So I'm starting to look at Kelly with a side eye.
Yeah. Kelly know who she need to be nice to on the show, aka Shamia and Phaedra. The neighbor was not harassing Kelly. It was brought on by Kelly. The neighbor is on the HOA committee and was granted a temporary restraining order by the court towards Kelly, hence why Kelly is trying to change the narrative. Oh, I know this, Kevin Reynolds. I do. I know. I said it last week. I said, Kelly, we know what it is. Like, we know what the circumstance is. We know she didn't have to move because she was trying to change her piece. I get that's for the show. But we know, we saw the videos. They were released in the blogs. We saw it all. And I'm like this, listen, I don't want to have to keep going in on Kelly every week. Like it's starting to get draining now to go in on her. So whatever narrative she want to give Bravo is what I'm gonna run with. Even though I've already outed her on my channel multiple times about this bullshit. But once again, as I said, Kelly does not make very sound decisions. And like Mrs. Best said, like a lot of these circumstances that she's getting herself into, I'm gonna take the ex-husband off of the equation because I don't know really because he hasn't been on the show. I don't know what that circumstance is, but her owing money to credit cards, her opening up businesses and then they're failing because they're not as busy as the other locations are. Her first season on the show living all extravagant, buying her daughter 18 purses, name brand purses and shit. All this stuff that she was trying to perpetrate, that shit is coming back on her now. So I've already beaten her up on my channel because I felt like she was bullshitting then, and I feel like some part of her is bullshitting now. I really do. So yeah. Kelly can save mad money if she stop bedazzling that damn. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm sick of looking at that damn dog and all that hair color and shit. That shit is expensive to do, and it's such a waste of time. That poor dog is, oh Lord Jesus. Also explains why Kelly all of a sudden wants to move. Yeah, no, I feel like Kelly had to move. I feel like they probably wrote her a letter saying you're gonna have to move. I don't think she owned that townhouse. I think she was leasing it. That's my opinion. It's alleged. I'm not saying it's true or not, but I do feel like she did not own that townhouse. That's why it was easy to get her up out of there. Because she would have to put it up for sale. It was a lot. That 70,000, it really could have been. Kelly owed everybody. So I don't understand why she ain't, fuck them teeth. Kelly switched up on Britt last season. That told me all I need to know about Kelly. Ooh.
That's actually a good point. I know a lot of people, I'm sorry, I'm a back of up. I know a lot of people do not like Broke Edie. However, her and Kelly were supposed to be good friends. And Kelly, as soon as she saw that people were not all on Broke's side, she did suddenly act like that wasn't her friend and have beef. That's why I wouldn't even want to move in Shamia's townhouse.
I wouldn't have moved in Shamia's town. Well, first of all, I wouldn't have got them teeth. Like that's
no doubt about the teeth, but like we passed the teeth. Now she moving into a doggone townhouse. I don't know. Kelly's decision making is poor, to say the least.
She's trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to act like she, got it all. And I'm just like, don't do that. Just be yourself. I don't understand why y'all feel y'all have to just show. Maybe it's the forum. Maybe it's the forum. Housewives are usually affluent, maybe substantially wealthy people. So maybe she feels like she has to do this. But when I tell y'all, I will look exactly what my circumstances was. I will drive a Honda on this camera. I will wear Amazon jewelry for the camera. I don't care. Like it is what it is. Right. Not ready. I'm not. Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, that's a hard one. I understood what you were saying. I understood what both of you were saying. She did switch up. I didn't like that either. moving on from this scene, Angela meets up with her brother. They go to the park. It's been a year, or coming up on a year at this point that they were filming of their mother's passing. Her mother passed very suddenly. And, she is, talking about where her family dynamic is now. We understand that the daughter had gotten married and didn't tell Angela. And the brother asked her, well, are you going to tell the younger kids that she's now married? And Angela feels like that's not her place to tell those kids. That's her sister's place to tell them, because she didn't even know herself. So she feels like she shouldn't have to tell her younger children, about the decisions her oldest daughter makes. Now, I agree, but I don't feel like, to the extent you could say that she got married, or you could say that, like, I don't feel like you have to tell the kids everything, but I don't know. That one was a hard one for me. Mrs. Best, how do you feel, Angela? Should she be handling it the way she is handling it, or do you feel that it's not that big of a deal for her to tell her younger children that the oldest sibling just got married?
Um, I don't know. I guess every family is different. It depends on the dynamic. I feel like she's trying to low key punish her for getting married the way she did.
Mm-hmm.
But the siblings seem young enough that they probably will not care.
Yeah, because I didn't know where, because she did defend, she did come out on social media and went into further detail about what she meant, because a lot of people thought she was, LGBT shaming, and she wasn't doing that at all. And I didn't even, in the scene, I didn't even take that as that. Like, I didn't take that as all. I just think that, it was kind of like she didn't know how to really tell them, because she just found out of the blue. So I guess that's how I took it. Like, because she found out of the blue, she didn't just want to say it out of like, oh, well, look, your sister got married. She didn't even tell me about it. And also, her losing her mama, she didn't want to probably do it out of emotional either, because that is something that, it's kind of hard. I couldn't imagine doing that and just, not say anything. So, I think Angela is distancing herself from the explanation to those kids. It could be, yeah. I'm not saying it's, yeah. It could be that, but I don't know why. I think I'm trying to find out the why in that, because it didn't make sense to me, but at the same time, like Mrs. Best said, everybody does things differently. So, I personally think Angela is not for her daughter being married to a woman. I sense a lot of subliminal homophobic vibes. Do you?
I do too.
Do y'all?
I do too.
Huh.
Because I feel like that's part of the shade that she was throwing, telling her daughter that she could tell them herself. I feel like Angela might have had the conversation, like, how am I supposed to explain this to the girls or something with their daughter? That we know that she had problems with her daughter, that we have to remember the daughter was not comfortable coming out at first. So I'm sure there's stuff attached to it. A lot of people can have a gay friend, be okay with the community until that community becomes part of their family.
Yeah,
So
I
I
have seen
mean,
that. See,
it,
I thought it was kind of like an emotional being as well. I didn't take that as it being like a subliminal homophobic vibe. I didn't like look at it that way, just because, listen, things, when you lose a parent, grief is weird. It's very strange. I'm still not the same. So I kind of was looking at it from that point. But now that y'all say it, and then remembering what the brother said in the scene about, well, they gonna know. Like, it's not like, you can hide it or shield it from it. When he said that, that kind of broadens y'all points, especially Kevin Reynolds. And then, as you said, Mrs. Best as well, it kind of broadens your points after thinking about what the brother said in the scene too. So I kind of could see where y'all coming from now. But Angela did dispel that. She went on social media and explained herself. She said it was not, anything of homophobia or anything of that sort. It was just strictly, she said it was not her business to tell. That's what she said on social media. So I don't know, because a lot of people probably felt that same way. She is an older lady who was taught a man and a woman being married as goals, which is not the world we live in. Well, she ain't that much older. I mean,
she's not, but it wasn't that
yeah,
long ago that people were against certain things. I
right.
mean, it wouldn't surprise me. She is of a generation of women that would look at that with concern. But
True. I can see that. But
just let
yeah,
her daughter live her life. Like, you got your
right.
younger kids, film with them, film with Charles. Let Amari live her life. Don't make her life for the public.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also don't leave it open like this where it could incriminate you in words and beliefs that you probably don't believe yourself. You're just in the moment with it. So just be careful, Angela. That's all we're gonna say. So that was it with Angela and her brother. My condolences for their family because, seeing Angela cry, and of course, as I said, I can relate to that. It was kind of hard to see. Of course, Angela will come on social media and say otherwise. It is called damage control. Angela does not want to be canceled. Child, as much as that family, trust me, she'll be all right. Charles, never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. Um, the next thing we have is Phaedra. So Phaedra is at her law office. Phaedra got her good Bob attorney wig on, and we look in her lobby and we see Kelly is there. And so Phaedra is going to be representing Kelly in her new custody battle to get the child support that the ex-husband refused to pay. And also, I believe there was also a judgment settlement in their divorce as well that he's also not paying either. And so Phaedra has, filed a motion, to expedite the order. And Phaedra also tells her that she also wants to do, a second motion to do in a contempt to get the back child support for Kelly. And, she explains to Kelly that I know you're going through a lot financially. I understand how hard it is. I am also a single mom as well. My divorce was tumultuous too. So I just want to let you know that me doing this case for you, I will be doing it pro bono. This is my gift to you. And that was such a huge relief for Kelly that Kelly was like, thank you so much. Because, yes, I have been going through it. And I feel like I'm going to be forever indebted to you guys. Thank you so much. Because Phaedra also had another attorney that also helped validate, the points of what she can do. Kelly also wants, to be able to film with her daughters as well. So she's hoping that Phaedra can find a way around that too. So, um, that throwback shade was, I was just going to say, that throwback shade to Cynthia was funny as hell because all I could think is win a case, win a case. And Phaedra had to let y'all know. Phaedra says she wins plenty of cases. Her litigation practices are very up to par. So she does extremely well in law offices and everything. And I'm just like, okay, Phaedra, that's because you know everybody up in there. So yeah, I'm sure it is. But nevertheless, any counsel at this point would be good counsel for Kelly because she can't go nowhere but up at this point. So we hope that Phaedra does deliver and give Kelly the relief that she needs. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Phaedra representing Kelly?
All I can think about is Sheree's case from seasons ago. That's all I could think about is Sheree's case that we watched on TV years ago. And I'm also thinking of Bobby Brown's disdain for Phaedra Parks while he was active in his cocaine use. Okay. That's all I can think when it comes to Phaedra in the law. Bobby, I love you. Bobby. That's all I hear that. And I see Phaedra looking down confused as the judge tells Saray no. That's all I could think. Where's Naya said it best. Phaedra said, "Let me go play in my office today." That's the exact.
Oh,
That's
right
the
here. I see the comment.
that is exactly what this gave. Phaedra is a brilliant woman. I hope that she handles Kelly's case better than Sheree's, but that's all I could think about is Bobby Brown's disdain
Phaedra
and
said, let me play my
Sheree's
own.
loss in court.
Dang, the
That's it.
homophobic is worse than a husband who has been known to cheat. Oh, that's not what I was referring to with Charles and the scandal. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I do agree with you, Kevin Reynolds. But that's not what I was talking about. Um, Something about this feels like it will blow back on Kelly. Once again, okay. Well, here's the thing with the charade shit. I actually was on Phaedra's side with her pressing charges for the contempt for Bob to go to jail for not paying the child support only because it would have then put on record that he does owe her this. And when you don't do that and you just try to get the monetary vibe without doing, because once again, child support, if it was in the divorce degree before, he has to honor it. And if he doesn't honor it and she doesn't press charges for it, it goes up in the air. So I do think, and then he just filed a continuously. That's what he did, which puts them back in paperwork and reroutes the case again. So she could continue to file a contempt. He just used his right to a continuancy. That's all he did. So with Sheree, I feel like she did that to herself a little bit. And all the other new attorney can do is keep on the contempt. I wonder if Sheree ever did get that back child support since those kids are grown now. I often wonder. But I was with Kevin Reynolds, Phaedra, because I think it was Dr. Heavenly who says that she feels like Phaedra has all these degrees and licenses to do all these jobs. But I think Phaedra honestly wants to just be a reality TV star. I think she likes being in front of the camera and likes the glitz and glamour. And that's what she's going to do. And maybe some of those titles are vanity. I do. I do believe that as well. Not Sheree outwitted by y'all. Yes. I just read that Kelly's ex-husband is suing Bravo. He tried to do that her first season that she was there. That
It's
was,
the
yeah.
same lawsuit.
It's the same lawsuit. Yeah, he was trying to do that when she first got on the
It's
show.
recirculating online because they just had progress in the case. That's all.
Yep. That's all, yep. But that was pretty much it. Once we said good luck, Kelly, good luck, Phaedra. Phaedra, please do right by this young lady. Do everything that you can. I don't care if you got to use other resources. But yeah, I'm not mad at this either. Pacino Rose, I'm not mad at this. Like, honestly, it's very inspiring. And she did a lot of this stuff later on in life, which is very inspirational to me. So I'm not mad at her hustle either. I'm really not. Um, So the next scene we have is Pinky and her husband. They're meeting up with Montel Jordan. Oh, it was so nice to see him and his wife. I believe her name is either Christy or Kristen. I don't know his wife, so forgive me if I'm supposed to know her. I'm sorry, I don't. But he's a pastor, and Pinky and her husband go to them for, counseling when they need it and everything. And, they're talking about the bankruptcy. Once again, I'm about sick of Pinky with this damn bankruptcy shit. So she was saying to them and explaining that, she didn't want him to bail her out of the situation. She wants to show him that she can do it, that she's strong, and that she can stand on her own. And like Miss Christie or Kristen or whatever her name was said, that's pride. I love you, but that's your pride. And she goes, I know, but that's, how they want to handle the situation. Um, I did agree with Pinky that business wise, that's not a smart decision for him to write the check. I do agree with that to some extent. However, I don't think that the bankruptcy was where she needed to go either. I feel like she can get an accountant and manage the way because she says she makes a lot of money. So I feel like she could get an accountant and manage the money right where she can make payments on whatever it is that she owes and still keep a good chunk of her change. But once again, I don't know what she makes in 2 weeks a month. I don't know what that is, but it just seemed like I felt like the bankruptcy was the quick way out. And I just don't agree with what she did, especially because she's talking about she makes a lot of money. So something just doesn't add up with this situation every time she puts it on camera. That's all I'm gonna say. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Pinky and her husband meeting with the Jordans and what they were explaining in the scene?
I feel like Pinky is dragging this, and some things aren't making sense to me still. I still don't understand why, if your husband has the money to bail you out, why you would choose to go through bankruptcy instead of being bailed out. It seems like the decision to file for bankruptcy was one that she might have made, not just for her finances, but with keeping a storyline on this show. It's just the more she talks about it, the more I see it. It doesn't make sense. If your husband can bail you out, it just seems smarter to do that than to be under a financial scope for years and years and years. There's either more that she's not telling us, but I just want her to stop talking about finances. I just want a break from Pinky's restaurants getting shut down, cited by the city, fined. Like, I'm kind of over it. I want to see more. Like, we don't get to really see the dynamic of Pinky with her husband and how she is as a wife, because all they talk about are the funds. And then she done had her mama, her husband, her financial advisor, an attorney, her friends. She's had a whole slew of people tell her to put her pride aside and let the man bail her out. So I'm like, either he really don't got the money and they trying to make it seem like he do, or she's doing all this shit for the show. But whatever the hell, just like girl, pay a bill and move on. I want to see
That's what I
more from
feel like. Yeah,
Pinky.
I do too. I want to see more from her as well because it's not clicking for me. I need something to make sense of this. I do. I need something to make sense of it where I understand it, because if I didn't know any better and I'm watching this for my first time, I would have said, okay, it seems like you just reckless with money. Because how are you
That's what
$4
it's
million
giving.
in
Because
debt? Yeah.
if you're in that much debt, you're so stressed out. You don't want your husband to feel a financial strain from bailing you out, but you got a $40,000 budget to tell a story about your life when the crescendo of your story you're in the middle of right now, the way you describing your finances. So
Right.
I just feel like Pinky is bullshitting. She's either bullshitting, bad as hell with money, or is really a delusional ass businesswoman. Because I
Well, we
respect her
know
for what she's.
she's a delusional businesswoman because she made herself the primary guarantor of her business. When you own a restaurant and you decide to franchise it, that is one of the worst decisions you can make as a business person, because if you're franchising it and you're not putting other people and other investors in places where they can alleviate that from you, that's crazy. That's like, no, like I'm not.
Maybe that's why she wants to file for bankruptcy. But if that's the case, she needs to be clear on it. But in the meantime, I just want Bravo to. We don't need to see Pinky discussing her financial situation in every scene we get of her by herself. So hopefully, Bravo can start to show us more. But it's episode 11. They probably won't.
Yeah, you got to make millions to owe millions, Karen, drunk ass Hugh. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm letting y'all know that now. I'm sorry.
Karen gave us that quote where her wig was pushed back.
Right. Exposing all that six head, but you know, yes. But the next scene we have after we get done with Pinky and them is that Drew is entertaining Angela, Cynthia, Portia, and Phaedra at her house. Everybody is trying to make away what Portia did with this interview, talking about how she's dating a man and woman, because this is now where it's now gone public. Some of the ladies knew because Portia did bring Sway as a +1 to Drew's movie premiere. So they kind of had an idea in a sense, but now Portia has made this public. So now that's what everyone's talking about. And also, Cynthia said that she did meet up with Shamia and that she is breaking up, her and Portia, and she's feeling like, is there any way that her and Portia can come back to a better place? And Portia was like, I'm being nice. I thought I was being friendly. Like, I'm not going to explain anything that's private between she and I. Like, I thought I was being nice to her, I was being friendly to her. And I'm just like, y'all need to let this Portia and Shamia shit go at this point. Portia does not want to talk about it. Shabia is deflecting from it. So I don't understand why we have to keep going back and forth about this. Y'all are making this whole series based on Portia and Shamia. And that's crazy as hell.
That's
Because,
why I said when they announced Shamia as a peach and we discussed it on your channel, that's why I was kind of disappointed, because her and Portia together, even if they were not enemies, I feel like they would be making everything about the two of them.
yeah,
We just need one or the other.
very much so. I don't believe Pinky's husband has as much money as she says. Maybe he has it in assets. I agree. I
That's
don't believe that
probably
either.
what it is. Because she said that it would be if she doesn't want him to go through the financial strain of giving her the money. Usually, if someone says that, I'm assuming she would have to figure out how to liquidate and cash in a bunch of
Yeah, I
assets.
think he does have it in assets. Absolutely. I agree with that at 100%. And as I said, I think that that's too much of a risk because that's $4 million or $5 million, whatever she said.
And won't
Five,
she still be a personal guarantee if she pays off her debt? She'll
yeah,
still be the only.
she still is. Yeah, she bought back all of her businesses.
Oh,
And that's why
Lord.
I'm saying I don't know if that was a smart business decision for her, considering where her business, works. So it's one of a few things. Those businesses aren't doing what they did in the beginning when she opened them, and she's having a hard time keeping them afloat. We already saw the landlord coming after her for back rent. So it's kind of like
Jesus.
it's so much with her that I don't even think she can even explain it. I just
Yeah.
don't.
She's
I,
probably in too deep. It sounds like bankruptcy is the best choice, but file, stop talking about it. Show us yourself with your kids. Show yourself being a mom to the child who's also a model. Show what it's like when you have to go with your husband to events. Like Pinky could give us so much more, and all she's done is talk about finances. So
yep,
we'll
yep,
pray she'll talk
yep.
about more.
Happy Monday, Dr. Jim Bunny. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Shamika, beautiful girl, but she's been a cornball during her French of RHOA days. I agree.
Preach,
Shamina and
preach.
her mom at a club, child. You must be at that point, Dr. Jim Bunny.
Y'all
Let me
gotta
know.
stop calling her Shamina. Y'all understand my first name is my government name is Amina. Every time somebody get a nickname, it's the end of my name. I get tired of it, Lord.
But crazy. But anyway, y'all, we gonna move on to the next thing because I didn't give a fuck about him being at Drew's house and Ralph being in the basement. I didn't care about that. I really
Well,
didn't.
watch your mouth, Mister. Watch your mouth.
As I said at the beginning of the video, James is not watching his mouth.
He said, "I don't give a fuck about the man in the basement
I
or any of
don't. I'm like, "Yeah, that is so old and tired." I'm like, ugh. Every time I think about that, I'm like, y'all
them."
crazy as hell. I'd have been gone. But
I
anyways, let
look
me go.
forward to seeing her high-rise apartment next season.
You giving her way too much credit. She gonna be in a townhouse all the way up in Sugar Hill, where the rent is only $2,500 a month. Watch what I tell you. Talk about high rise things. You ain't going to no damn high rise. She gonna go right to Sugar Hill, which is way up there by the water.
I'm trying to speak it into existence for Drew. Okay, she only finna have the kids on the weekend. She might be able to go to the high rise. I'm just saying.
It would behoove her to do it, but I don't see her doing that. Anyways, y'all, we're gonna move on. So Pinky is having this throwback 80s roller skating event, which actually did look like fun. It reminded me of Married to Medicine, the what did they call it? The Whitneyco, whatever they were calling it. Simone and C. So that's what it reminded me of. It was funny watching them roller skate and everything. Those wigs were very atrocious, by the way. I was like, "Ooh, Lord, we had
How
some."
these girls from Atlanta and can't skate?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm trying to understand it. That's the one thing I love this little girl. Double dutching, anything with a jump rope and roller skating. I'm looking at these girls wiggle and wobble and
It was
BBLs
K
and
Michelle. It was K Michelle for me with that damn a sister. I was like, girl, if you don't put that shit back, like really.
even with the little assistant skates, they were still crashing in the walls. I said, "Oh my god!"
It also was Portia for me sitting on that man's lap. I was like, Portia, the jokes write themselves at this point. Portia, like, come on, why is you on this man? How the hell is that even possible to do out there in the skating rink? Like,
Only Portia,
only Portia.
only Portia.
Only Portia. That shit was funny as hell. When Angela does get there, though, they because they all had the conversation about this being the actual anniversary date of Angela's mom passing. Portia did have a gift for her on spot. She actually got her a um, I guess a designed frame for her mother's picture, which was absolutely beautiful. I don't give Portia much on my channel, but I will give it to Portia. That was actually a very beautiful gesture. It really was. You could tell Angela wanted to cry, but she held together and she thanks all of the ladies for, sending gifts, supporting her, calling her, checking on her. She really thanks him. And I thought, once again, I have to give it to Portia. That was a beautiful frame. And we thank you for doing that. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about, Angela, and the ladies all supporting and rallying around her?
I love that about Black people. Okay, we will talk shit about each other to the end of the world, but if somebody's actually going through something, if they ain't done nothing too bad to you, support them. Nobody wants to lose a parent. It's just a difficult thing. So I was happy to see all of the cast show up, and they all seem very genuine with it, which made
Yes.
it even better.
Yes. And the little dance sequence was cute of them, too. I saw Portia and Shabia over there bouncing off of each other. I was like, I saw that. Y'all can hide it from us all you want to. I almost feel like y'all got a pact
Still
to.
like each other, Portia and
Mhm.
Shamia. I feel like they could be cool. I feel like they mamas is the thing that's keeping them from making peace.
Yep,
And Shamia.
absolutely. And
And
Shamia.
Shamia.
Yep. Ralph and that Jason Voorhees head. I don't know which content creator they said that Ralph reminded him of Ted Bundy. I said, y'all are wrong for that.
Well, it's the thing with Ralph. I had to mute the mic and laugh at Dr. J's comment. But the thing with Ralph's head, he is a handsome man. We can't deny that. But the shape of his head ruins it for me. It ruins it for me. I just cannot. Not
Not
geriatric state.
geriatric skaters, dang.
Damn,
Freaking
Nare.
yeah. The on Married to Medicine. I can't wait till Married to Medicine come back because I want to see how they treat Dr. Heavenly now that she didn't win the
They about to roast her. They've been doing it on the internet. Now they just waiting for a camera.
I can't. You know what's funny is I can still skate, Dr. Jim Bunny. I can't skate backwards. That's the
Then you
only thing.
cannot skate.
The lies you tell, I can keep up with your ass. Let's go out there. Let's do it. But I cannot skate backwards. I never learned how. No one ever taught me, and I'm too old now to learn.
You're
So
not too old to learn. Let
I cannot.
Amina teach you.
You could trust me. You could try,
I'm gonna have my
but
husband teach you.
I cannot. I've always wanted to learn how to skate backwards. I cannot do it. I don't know why. Like I don't have. First of all, I don't have coordination. I can barely dance. I don't have coordination at all. So that's going to be one of the biggest issues with me. Y'all are going to be like, get off. I remember someone tried to teach me how to snowboard. This was years ago,
Oh
and
my gosh.
like it's a wonder I didn't break my neck because y'all know I'm accident prone too. So it's a wonder I didn't break my neck.
I'm gonna have Mr. Best teach you how to skate. He's a great teacher. He taught me how to drive somehow, so he could teach you how to skate. We like
Porsche,
to skate.
not Porsche. Because she did mention to sit on somebody's lap and he kept on going. I was very impressed by that, by the way. I was like, how did this man keep on going with Portia big ass all he went in a complete circle. Like it was crazy. That was it was a very touching moment. Corn shit. Our Toya has always comes together when it's real. I agree. That frame was so thoughtful. I was surprised. I was too. Like I was shocked. And it came from Neiman Marcus, which y'all know Neiman Marcus is not cheap. So
Honestly, the cast of color on Bravo, all of them, they do show up for each other really well. I will
yeah, they
give
do.
them that. Because in
Yes.
Beverly Hills Housewives,
Yep. Not never too old to learn, child. I try. Dr. Heavy comes out swinging. She will get the ladies up off of her, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. They
now
say
she got no
Jordan.
reason to not talk shit this season. Dr. Heavily
She,
probably is going to be on their ass.
oh, absolutely, absolutely,
She
and
got
I
two
can't wait to
years
see
to
it.
the next election.
Yep. Y'all talk about that man's head.
It's a funny shape.
So now we gonna get to my favorite part of the episode, the whole Portia and Dennis of it all. Because y'all have to keep in mind, Portia just went public with her dating two people. Dennis didn't like that. Dennis said that Portia always jumping too fast into some shit, always bringing his daughter into it. Not manipulating. That's the wrong word. Always bringing her daughter meet new people and stuff. And she said, "Wait, wait, wait! Nobody has met Pilar. Nobody has done that." And we're not going to talk about my relationship because you happen just as fast as all the rest of them. You ain't no different. And he goes, man, I don't care nothing about that. I just don't want my daughter to be confused. I don't want none of all that. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I can do what I want to do. I'm single, just like you do what you want to do. And he goes, man, here, man, take this. This your ring. Portia opened up that box, looked at that ring, and was like, wow, I can't believe you still have this. Put that ring back in that box and then threw it back on Dennis. She goes, why would you bring that here? Why would you bring that ring back to me like this? She goes, you're not the drama, you're the trauma. And you're the reminder of why shit didn't work. It's because of you. And this is what she wanted to say to Dennis. This is what she wanted. Oh, that my thing talking to me. And did nobody call you? But anyways, like she was saying, Dennis, she goes, you need to get out of my house, Dennis. I can't believe you would bring that ring back up in here. Just do all of this to me. I can't believe you. So Dennis walks off and leave, and Portia just cry. Her sister don't know what to do. Her sister looking at her like, can I hug you? What do you want me to do? Because I don't know what emotion you're going through. And I want to tell Lauren, the assistant, we don't know either. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to let y'all know this now. Dennis, Portia wants to be with Dennis. It is very obvious. It is very clear. We can see it. She can see it. Dennis can see it. But the problem is, and me and Mrs. Best were having a conversation about this, and Mrs. Best made this point to me in text messages, is that Portia can't trust Dennis. And Simon was the revenge of saying that she can find somebody just as rich, maybe not as good looking, but Dennis ain't no looker either. So hey, but she can make it without him. That was a ploy. When Simon said that she used him, it may have been financially as well. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying, but her main purpose for having Simon was to teach Dennis that I could still have somebody just as rich as your ass. I don't need you. That's what that whole spinoff was about. Was her playing in Dennis's face, saying that this is my hee hee ha ha. You thought you got me, I got your ass. That's exactly what this was. It's very childish, it's very immature, and very stupid. But him bringing that ring, that was his test to see if she still cared about him, and she failed miserably.
You know why she failed? Because when we love a man, we get stupid just a little bit. Judgment gets clouded. Because if she didn't still have feelings for Dennis, then she would have saw the ring as a game or a play or an awful attempt at him trying to see how she feels. But the fact that she falls for this every time, I started cracking up. I felt so bad. Because even though I don't care for Portia, I did feel bad laughing at that lady because she said, I'm not crying, while in tears. In absolute shambles. Yeah. In shambles. I'm not crying, Dennis. I said, oh. They argue like they're married. Like, obviously, they can get along. I just feel like she needs to go on and get back with Dennis.
I don't know if she should get back with him, but I definitely see that she still loves him. It was very obvious. It was very obvious when she was with Simon that she still loved him. Like, it's very obvious she still loves him. He just won't do right. I think that Dennis is like, if Dennis didn't cheat, Portia would still be with Dennis. She even said it in the scene. I just think that, once again, his cheating is very peculiar to me because at the end of the day, Portia was out of his damn league. And I don't understand, like, why it was so hard for you to be faithful. Like, what was the point? You got a very beautiful woman. I just didn't understand him cheating on her. I was like, the audacity, but I don't understand a lot of things men do. It just is crazy to me. But that was a test, and Portia failed. You still love that man, and I think in some part of you still wants to be with him. You just know you can't. One, because you're pretentious, and you know that it would be stupid if you did take him back. But you have to understand, you need to learn how to not give a fuck about what we think as the viewing public. You need to learn how to not give a fuck. If your heart is really with this man, then you need to be with this man. Like, and the whole cheating thing, Dennis, I need you to figure that shit out because to me, once again, ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell, but you don't. Once again, thank you, Naya. Thank you, Naya, because that's exactly what it is. On both of their parts, not just Portia, but Dennis too. Yeah. The audacity, right? Cheating on Portia. She shouldn't, but they haven't let each other go. Yeah, it's all dramatic. Yeah, it is. It's all dramatic. And once again, as I said, this went on even when Portia had her spinoff and she was engaged to Simon. She still played in Simon's face, arguing and fighting with that man because she still loved him. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let me go all the way up because I'm missing a whole lot of comments here. No, drag his back. No, I don't have time. It ain't even worth it. Trust me. They're divorced now. I hope she never brings him up again. I really don't. Yes, Atlanta will put the BS to the side when it's serious. Going on. Beverly Hills and RHOP. Nope. Yeah, them some the most cold-hearted heifers I ever saw on TV. I promise you. I was cracking up when they was doing Morse code banging on the floor. Do Ralph. Dennis loves the camera. Just don't dress up anymore. Looks like a depressed mess. He does. He cleaned up now. He's yeah. You go on his social media now. He very much so has cleaned up his act. Like he don't look as homeless as he does in this episode. But yeah,
Not as homeless, Lord.
that's on the. Portia was triggered. She tried to stop crying but couldn't. Mad as hell. She is. She's angry. He is playing, and that's why I'm saying a part of me feel like he's too old to be doing this shit, and then another part of me feels like if that's really who you want to be with, why can't you commit to her? Like, why can't you just commit and just be with her? Like, what is up wrong with you to where you feel like you need to have somebody, but then play the field? If this is who you always want, that's
Maybe
what I
his
don't understand.
BBL is funky or something. I mean, it could be anything.
Well, it's just like Jock and Kendra. It's just like Jock and Kendra. Like, if this is the woman you've always wanted, why can't you be faithful then? I'm telling you, men's cheating is definitely a psychology study that needs to be examined further. Oh yeah, Dennis is playing it up. He is. He knew exactly what he was doing. Dennis knew that that was going to challenge her in ways that was going to confirm a lot that he had already suspected. And he did it on a public platform to where she would have no problem because Portia
And then
reacts more
she
than she
said
thinks.
Dennis had the wrong timing. If you pay attention to what Portia said after all of that, she didn't say that she was opposed to having that ring or
No.
talking back with him. She said he always comes at the wrong time.
Yep.
Lord, just toxic.
It is very toxic. Dennis, I don't know what the fuck he had on his head. I really don't know. I wasn't paying that close attention to him. All I was saying was like, Lord Jesus. Ugh.
You know, it's funny. He looked like he sell hot dogs.
Right. He had that. That's exactly
He
what,
really
yes,
do.
exactly. He do. He look exactly like that. In fact, men's cheating needs to be, it does. It needs to be studied because my way of thinking about it is a whole different toll on what it probably really is. So that's why I'm like, it needs to be studied so I can have a different outlook of opinion. We need to take a deep dive into it. We sure do. Maybe we can help the world. Plus, I think she would want a different. I don't even think it's about the ring. I just think it's more so about the simple fact that she would take him back, but she can't trust that he won't cheat on her again. Like when you don't have trust in someone to do what they already done to dissolve your relationship, you can't put faith in that again.
It's
And I think that's
also
where
the
she's struggling.
thing that when people are cheated on, it really does. They say in psychology that it is the same as any other trauma. So even if she did choose to forget it or choose to forgive it, I don't think Portia can get over
She's
it.
not the kind of person. No, she's
Yeah.
not that person. She's gonna hold on to that and probably play around with this until that baby is 18 and maybe beyond that. So, I just thought the scene was hilarious. I really do. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at her pain, but I'm definitely laughing at the fact that I don't know why she just won't be honest with herself. Like, you can admit that you still love him and wish you could be with him without actually loving him and being with him. You can admit that to yourself and to him and let him know that this is the hurt that he caused. There's a way to do it. But once again, this is Portia we're talking about, who does not have the emotional intelligence to do this. So, we'll just leave it at that. But that was, as I said, I laughed at that scene. I'm sorry. I was with Mrs. Best. I laughed at that shit because it was funny. And it's like, wow. Thank you for proving a lot of us recappers right, Portia. Mrs. Best, is there anything you would like to add on this scene other than the statement of it was a funny scene?
No, that's exactly why I kept my legs closed. I got time for that baby daddy drama. That's the headache that never leave. Then she got to go home and take care of little Pilar, look just like him.
Oh Lord Jesus. Yes, people, listen, be careful who you have children with. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it just not everybody deserves to recreate with, is it procreate, recreate, whatever the terminology is. Not everybody deserves that for you. So give it out wisely. Make sure there's solidarity. Make sure there are not mama issues. Make sure there's not a lot of different things that are going on So that way you can have them with the right people. And that does matter for not only your sake and their sake, but also the baby's sakes and their genetic makeup too. That's all I'm gonna say. But that baby daddy bull crap is whack. Thank goodness my son looks like me and no one else. All right, Shady. I know that's right. That's my girl. But anyways, y'all, that was the end of Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was a really good episode for me. I laughed. I was questioning everything. I was looking at certain people sideways, and that's what I like to do on these episodes. Hopefully, next week's episode is a little bit better. He looks like so much. He looks so much like me. You would think nobody else helped me create him. That's good. They know, because then you know you're beautiful, Shani. So y'all some beautiful people. Everybody in my all of y'all are beautiful people. Everybody up in here is beautiful. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We definitely appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to go ahead and log off. I want everyone to have a great night. Just know you are loved. We appreciate you. My next live will not be until the end of this weekend. I may do a sneak attack. We'll see what the news and the blogs put out for us this week, but we'll see what happens. But thank you all for being here. And we appreciate all of you once again. And I hope to see you guys on my next live. Bye-bye now.